Alrighty, let's see what we got today. Oh yes, it is Sunday. Campaign features. Each player starts with a survivors, a ruined village, a ruined market, a ruined library, an abandoned mine, 5 copper. Okay, so we have 1 copy of each ruin, even the ruins are not in the kingdom. Uh, will it show in the kingdom view what the other ruins do? No. Alright, well you better know what Dark Ages is for this one, because there's no way to tell what's in your turn 2 hands unless you know what the ruins say. Each ruin is +1 action, +1 card, +1 buy, +1 coin. And the last one is like reveal 2, discard 2 optionally. Here we have the +1 action ruin. So, next turn I will have 1 copper and 1 ruin that gives 1 coin. So functionally this is like a 4-2 split. Alright, let's take a look at the rest of the kingdom. For draw, minion is draw to X. Livery generating horses could be draw. I think those are the only two. No, litter is also draw. Okay. Villages, there's Taskmaster, Squire, Litter. I think that's all. Trashing, upgrade, and plus buy, capital, Squire, Galleria. Okay. What activates patron here, if anything? I think the answer is nothing. So no fun patron synergies. I think the question is, are you trying to do draw to X or draw your deck? Minion would play nicely with a lot of the virtual payload in the kingdom. You trash all your treasures, and you could play Patron, Taskmaster, Squire, play a minion, pitch your hand, draw more cards. Uh, Downside of minion, I actually have this card banned because I think it's very swingy and a little bit annoying. But you pitch your hand, you draw 4 cards. If you don't find another minion, you can't continue on with that deck. Other option would be livery. Get some liveries in play, buy some stuff, gain a bunch of horses. That deck is slower to get going, but at some point, you just have 1,000,001 horses and draw everything trivially. Could be some combination of the two, and you maybe minion or two early, and then you pivot into the livery stuff. That might be viable. Uh, don't think Swamp Hag looks that impactful. I could see taking Swamp Hag late. At some stage, it probably gives out like 4 curses a turn. It doesn't seem important to me. Is Taskmaster worth going for? Kind of leaning towards. Actually, I don't know which way I'm leaning towards. So there's 2 other villages you can play with. One case for Taskmaster is there's a lot of fives that you want to gain anyway, which makes it pretty good. And you'd probably rather your fives be some of this other stuff like Livery Minion upgrade, and that would obviate the need to gain litters. You could also just play with Squire, which is a village, uh, more flexible village, and it's a village immediately, whereas Taskmaster takes a turn to set up. I think Taskmaster looks worth it. So yeah, I think the goal is going to be get some upgrades to get thin, a minion or two, I think, to kickstart things, then a livery, either Galleria or Squire. By one Galleria would just be like unlimited buys in this kingdom, because you play one Galleria, you have liveries in play. Anything you buy costs even more than 3 or 4 is going to come with a horse, and then the horse is going to trigger Galleria's effect and give you another buy off of it. Okay, the opening's gonna be a little bit tricky because we have less money than usual to work with. 4-2. Hmm. Could be just a wedding and then pay off debt. That'd be decent likely to hit 5 whenever I find the gold next turn. The downside is I'd have 1 debt left because I only have 6 total money. Uh, what about wedding plus play the survivors instead of the coin? The problem is then I'd have 2 debt left. I'd trigger a shuffle that has 4 coppers and a gold in it. Uh, if I bottom deck the ruined village, that would hit 5. I would likely hit 4. I'd hit 3 coppers, gold, ruined village, pay off 2 debt, and have 4 money left. So I don't think that line quite works. Could just be like patron and a squire, or patron and nothing. I think I like patron squire more. The village effective squire is actually liable to be fairly useful immediately here, I think. Because if you line up squire with a ruined library, for example, you can just play it. Oh, ruined library! Okay, maybe there was a case for wedding turn one. I was thinking of using survivors to trigger the shuffle, and somehow I just forgot that ruined library existed. If you play ruined library and draw anything except for gold off the top, you hit 5 next turn. Yeah, that's gotta be the better opening, right? Well, missed opportunity there. I'm probably playing the ruined library anyway here on the same grounds. Yeah, this is still fine. If I draw anything except for the patron, I'll hit 5 next turn. And I just said I do think I want a free squire, so I'll take it. Ruined village patron. Grade. I think survivors is probably less useful than ruined village at this stage. Ruined village you could play before a minion to get it into play, get it out of the way. Survivors would help you sift. I think I'm gonna finish that one first. Didn't exactly want to draw you, but okay. Bottom 6 cards, pretty dang sure I'm not hitting 5. Could take a gold, pay off the debt next turn. I'm actually not convinced that gold is better than patron, though. I'm gonna say one more patron. And then probably at some point soon-ish, maybe now, start taking taskmasters. Though the bot already has 3 taskmasters, none of which are in play, might I add. One more upgrade. Bot has all the taskmasters. I should also think at some point about upgrading Squire. I would gain a free minion off of it, or a Swamp Hag. Uh, but I can't do that this turn, or I wouldn't hit 5, and that would make me sad. I think minion now. And one more minion. Uh, Not really dead set on minions. Is it time for livery already? I might need plus buy. I'm playing the Squire for actions most turns. I'm not getting buys off of that. Does Galleria before livery make sense? There's no way. I think drawing has to be more important than buys here. I still have a lot of upgrades to play. Take livery afterwards. I think I said livery. I meant take Galleria afterwards. There we go. That was a good turn. I'm happy about that. Galleria double Taskmaster. It's a little sad how quickly the Taskmasters ran out, because that kind of puts the kibosh on my plan to upgrade Squires. I can still gain silvers off of them, but that's just a much, much less good target than Taskmaster here. Uh, Gotta buy something worth 5. There's one more livery. Taskmaster. Discard. Of course. Livery, Galleria, grade. Squire, gaining one of these, or just kill a patron. Definitely, no. I was gonna say definitely killing patron is better because I need the plus 5, but that's not true. I have Galleria. Uh, Trashing the Squire means I have 15, which is probably a little bit better number here. Yeah, I don't think I need the Squire so much anymore, given that I have all the buys I need from Galleria. I'll take the swap back at this stage. I plan on drawing with livery from here on out. Take one more upgrade. And One more livery. Okay, I can support that. That might be over optimistic. I didn't mean to click that. That's not a problem though. It worked out just fine. I was planning to play everything but the horse and then just pitch my hand with minion, but then I accidentally played the horse. Let's just keep clicking these. I might need another village actually. I have that many liveries. And do I pile out this turn? Yeah, maybe I didn't actually need that many liveries. I wasn't expecting to win this turn when I started clicking my buys, but then I noticed that livery and squire are both super duper low. That's probably a suboptimal set of buys with the power of hindsight. Also, why did I play this upgrade before the liveries? I'm passing up on like I'm gonna have more horses than I know what to do with and probably win the game this turn anyway. But it does feel silly uh, getting horses here. Let's fix that. Can I pile coppers? Find out. Doesn't look like it. No, I'm still pretty far off. How disappointing. All right, I'll take my 0 to -1 win. What happened with the bots deck? Uh, one upgrade, one minion. That is not a lot of fives. I'm gonna hypothesize it didn't have a strategy for getting to five early enough. Taskmaster turn one, Taskmaster turn two. The 3-3 split's probably a little bit worse. Taskmaster turn three, was it? Yeah. No, upgrade. Oh, upgrade turn three. It does manage to hit five, but then it whiffs on five the next turn, even with a Taskmaster in play, and can't keep him in play. He buys another one. Yeah, I think Taskmaster is a little bit tricky because like you gotta plan on once you've got some Taskmasters in your deck, you're just I'm gonna click five for the rest of the game. And then you got this awkward spot sometimes where you've hit five, and the next turn you gotta buy five again to keep the Taskmaster in play. And then at what stage are you adding additional Taskmasters? Well, you can't do that until you have some plan for hitting like eight and two buys. And so you might be locked into either letting your Taskmasters get discarded, in which case there's effectively coppers, or you know buying a suboptimal five cost card, which you really needed additional Taskmasters or something else. Uh, I think it can make sense to like buy a few early so you've already got multiples in your deck before you're uh, committed to buying fives to keep them in play. Uh, that being said, if you're just clicking a bunch of Taskmasters, it's effectively like adding coppers to your deck in the short term. And so it seems like the bot might have overdone it a little bit there and not had a strategy for it continuing to hit five. Maybe one of those Taskmasters should have been a silver, something like that. I don't know. Uh, two squires I also find a little bit confusing as a buy. Yeah, I don't think the Taskmaster stuff is terrible because like, the upside is if you do manage to spike five early and get some Taskmasters in play, that money is going to mean you're probably not missing five for quite a while. In this kingdom, like you could build a deck without clicking anything but five cost cards. You get your buys, your draw, your trashing, your actions. So it's not that big of a limitation. But I think it's a little bit risky if you only have Taskmasters, which are essentially coppers until you've debated them. And seems like, especially with the extra jump cards you're starting with, I think the bot just didn't have a good plan for continuing hitting five. That deck could have worked out if it gets lucky, gets like two Taskmasters in play, and then coasts from there, but it seems like it did not.